Hi, I'm Robert. I come to you as an automobile enthusiast that has maintained, serviced, and repaired my own vehicles in excess of 30 years. I currently drive a car with over 230,000 miles on it, and I once had a car that had over 400,000 miles on it and ran very well. While you're watching the video, please watch a step or two ahead. Sometimes the current step is better explained in the next step or two. Also, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you benefit from the information. Okay, doing some work on an 850. It's had some starting issues, hard to start when it's warm, that kind of thing. And then we scanned the computer and it came up with a temp sensor code, P0116. So I'm going to show you guys where the sensor is and tell you the easiest way to get it pulled out. If you pull the coolant hose to the side and you're looking on the housing of the thermostat, you can see the wire going into it, and now the temp sensors come in focus. The connector for it's right there. Some people know how to ohm it out. I don't remember the ohm reading on it and didn't bring my ohm gauge with me, so I'm just going to go ahead and unplug it and take it out. And you should put a new one in if at all possible. If you want to check it out with an old used one, you can. These are the tools I use when I'm changing the temp sensor. A lot of times when the temp sensor is being changed, people change the thermostat as well. If the thermostat is good and working fine, then don't worry about it. But I take off the top of the thermostat housing and I use this speed handle, and this allows a good T40 bit. And if the T40s are not too tight in there, I'll use this driver and a crescent wrench to get that loose. The temp sensor is a 19 millimeter, so you need a 19 millimeter to get on there to get the temp sensor out. Then I often drain a little bit of the coolant out, so I use a 1/4 inch tools to drain some of the coolant out. When you're draining coolant out of the radiator, you just open it up, let it drain out. And when you close it back, it really doesn't need to be tight. It just needs to be snug. So snug it down with the 13 millimeter screwdriver there. Then I use the other 1/4 inch sockets to get the radiator hose off. So those are the tools I use to change the temp sensor. First thing I do is come down this side of the radiator, stick a 13 millimeter in there, drain some of the coolant out of the radiator, hopefully get enough out, maybe a gallon or two, so there's not none in this top radiator hose. Then take a 7 millimeter socket and take this clamp loose. To get that part of the hose, take this clamp loose. Now you can pull this top radiator hose off. If this hose is soft or looks like it's swollen or something, go ahead and get a new one to replace it. Aftermarket ones are 19 bucks, something like that. Now that the hose is out of the way, you can see the temp sensor wire a little better. Some people unplug the wire and they know how to check the ohms on it. I don't have my ohm meter with me and don't know the proper ohms of it when it's at this temperature anyway, so I'm going to just pull it out. It's preferred to replace it with a new one, but if you have a spare one laying around, you can use it as a test unit. The easiest way to get it out is to take the thermostat housing off. So I'm going to put a T40 on these two bolts up top and take that top thermostat housing off. If you're having issues with your thermostat, you can go ahead and replace it at this time as well. Having a hard time as usual with these T40s up there, so I'm going to go to my big box and get my tools to get that pulled out. This is how I normally break these two T40 torque screws loose on top of the thermostat housing. Is I put a T40 Laos bit on it. I put it on the speed handle. I set the speed handle about like that. I lean on it and then I smack it loose with my hand, and it normally breaks them loose. So let me make sure they're broke loose, both of them. Okay, I got both of the screws all the way loose now. So I'll go ahead and take this housing up and out of the way. And then you can see the thermostat in there. Kind of a funny thing, the thermostat's actually broke. So that thing, I don't know if it will be opening or not. This car may have overheated, may have sent it to his grave because of this broke thermostat. Anyway, the thermostat is put in with a little seal there, and the Volvo one has a little weep hole in it where you see this little metal thing. That little weep hole metal thing should go toward the front of the car when you install these, and you don't have to put any blue RTV or nothing like that to get those things sealed down in there. That thermostat is actually a Volvo thermostat, so they break too. Just have to watch your temp gauge, make sure you're okay. This temp sensor is a 19 millimeter, so you may want to take the thing apart there. You can flip that out, take this apart, slide the wrench over it and get it that way, or you could try to get a wrench on it this way if you can get leverage on it without a bracket or something being in the way to break that temp sensor loose. I don't know if it matters how this connection goes together, but I couldn't get no leverage on the temp sensor with the power steering reservoir assembly in the way. So I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to try to put the connector back together the way I got it apart. So it just may be a completed circuit, but I'm going to try to make sure I plug it in right. When you turn the connector that way, you can pry it open like that. That thing just flips down like that. Let those connectors out. Okay, so I'm going to take my wrench, put it over there like that, get it in a position where I can break that thing loose, and go ahead and break it loose and take it off. Once I break it loose, it'll probably turn off with my bare hands. So let me work on getting that off. Okay, I got it broke loose. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it the rest of the way out. I'm pretty sure it has a little washer on the end of it, so make sure you don't drop that washer down there. And once you get that turned out, that's your temp sensor. A lot of people replace those whenever they replace their thermostat, because after so long, those things lose their effectiveness and they cause starting issues and sometimes lean running issues when they're not reporting the proper temperature to the ECU. So there it is, the sensor's out, the washer's still there, so I'm going to grab that, and that's what the ETC looks like. Alright, so when you go back in with the new one, make sure it's got the washer on it, screw it in hand tight, and I would probably give it a quarter turn past that. You don't want to strip it, and that little washer should stop it from leaking. Plug the connector in, secure the connector, and then put your thermostat stuff back together and put your hose on. Just back out the way you went in and fill the coolant back up. So if you got any questions, go ahead and post them. If you feel that this information was beneficial, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can get notification of future videos that I post. Visit my channel. I have all types of do-it-yourself videos there. You can leave questions here and I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. You can also visit my website at robertspinner.com. Thanks again for watching.